When I first read the Harry Potter books, I was 14. Not the best age to judge books, but not a bad one either. And I remember I loved every letter of it. It was fluid, it was funny, it was charming, it was scary, it was dramatic, it was a roller coaster of emotion. But there was one thing that stand out in those books, for me at least. The characters. More than anything, J.K. Rowling is great at writing deep and complex characters. Professor Snape, for example, is one of the most fascinating characters I have ever read about. And it's true to every one of the characters in the series. Rowling didn't neglect one of the side characters. From Arthur Weasley to Minerva McGonagall, everyone has deep motives, special way of thinking, and unique way of speaking.
Dry up, Dursley, you great prune.
The movies got most of them right. Daniel Radcliffe started the series as a pretty mediocre actor.
You're a wizard, Harry.
I'm a what? No, you've made a mistake. I mean, I can't be a wizard.
But he got better and better until in the last movie he became at the same level of his friends Rupert Grint and Emma Watson, that both of them were great from the start. The others didn't need time, they were great from the start. Maggie Smith seems like she has risen straight from between the pages of the book.
That was bloody brilliant.
Oh, thank you for that assessment, Mr. Weasley. Perhaps it would be more useful if I were to transfigure Mr. Potter and yourself into a pocket watch. That way one of you might be on time.
Robbie Coltrane was born for the role of Hagrid.
I brought you here 16 years ago when you were no bigger than a bow truckle. Seems only right that I should be the one to take you away now.
Yes, it's all very touching. Let's go!
And Alan Rickman, well, he was Alan Rickman. Cunning, devious, silent, the perfect Snape.
Then I suggest you take extra care, Mr. Potter. Loss of limb will not excuse you. Page 394.
And for Dumbledore, we had Richard Harris. And he was perfect. Some say he was too weak, but I don't think so. I think he was perfect Dumbledore. There's a reason why in the books, every time Dumbledore does something physical, there is a reason why in the books, every time Dumbledore does some physical activity that require strength, like swimming, rolling rights, that it was surprising. Dumbledore is supposed to look weak. That's why the first time Harry realized he was the only wizard Voldemort ever feared, nerd alert, was in the end of the 4th book, when he attacks Barty Crouch Jr. After the second film, Harris passed away and replaced by the famous, well-appreciated Michael Gambon.
Since then now, Harry Potter's come along.
Yeah, I'm Dumbledore. Richard Harris did 2 films and he died. I'm now on my 3rd.
Do you understand the first thing that's been said in Harry Potter?
Well, I read the script and learn the lines, and I try to understand. I have to understand it, don't I? Sort of. Quite often I don't know what's going on, though. In other films I do.
He began the role of Albus Dumbledore in The Prisoner of Azkaban, the 3rd movie. When I've seen him for the first time, I remember thinking that doesn't look right. First, in the books, Dumbledore should be tall. And for some reason, Gambon don't look as tall as Richard Harris. I know that technically they are almost the same height, but maybe something about Gambon's posture make him look shorter. The second reason is his clothes looks like something you will find in your grandma's wardrobe. I mean, what the hell is that? In the books, Dumbledore always depicted as dandy, and look what Richard Harris wore. Why the hell would you replace this with a dirty towel? And don't even get me started about the cake-shaped hat. Anyway, the third and the most irritating reason is the f***ing ponytail in his beard. Who the hell thought of that? That is probably the most out of character detail in his look. And for the acting itself, I thought he was pretty good. Maybe even a bit better than Harry's. He was smart, smiley, calming, and pretty much the Dumbledore we know and love from the books.
In doubt, I find retracing my steps to be a wise place to begin. Good luck.
And then came the fourth film.
Harry, did you put your name in the cover of the fire? No, sir. You asked one of the older students to do it for you?
No, sir.
Absolutely sure.
Yes, sir.
It doesn't help, Alistair. Silence!
To this day, I have no idea what happened between those films. Who came to Gambon in his dream and whispered, "A good Dumbledore is an imitation of a headless chicken"? Please, find that man for me and kill him. I don't think that I have ever seen such a bad performance from an actor in any movie. And the fact that Michael Gambon showed us that he can do a great Dumbledore one movie before that make this even worse. Well, let's go to the fifth film, The Order of the Phoenix. In this film we pretty much got the same horrible Dumbledore. A screaming goat with a long beard and a ponytail, of course.
But you all have studying to do.
Even the scene that many people says that he did good, the battle in the end, he missed, in my opinion. One of the key parts of Dumbledore character is that he always in control, even when he fights. In the same part in the book, the big fight between Dumbledore and Voldemort in the Ministry of Magic, Harry is worried because how Dumbledore looks so calm and peaceful. He defeats Voldemort without big waves of the wand or big beautiful tricks. He is calm, even makes a small talk with Voldemort and simply defeats him. And in the movie... well, you see what I mean. By the way, some of those problems are also in Ralph Fiennes' Voldemort too. Not that he was a bad Voldemort, by all means, but he too missed some key elements in the character. He wasn't as scary as Voldemort should be, and he too got the same headless chickenism syndrome from Michael Gambon.
I can touch you now.
Pick up your wand, Potter. I said pick it up. Get up! Get up! Silence!
Anyway, let's get back to the headmaster of Hogwarts. In the sixth film, we finally started to see some of the old Dumbledore, the one from The Prisoner of Azkaban. And it was a must, really. Dumbledore was a key character in that film, a lot more than previous ones. If Michael Gambon would have done the same performance he's done in The Goblet of Fire, this film would be ruined completely. The Goblet of Fire wasn't ruined because of him. He wasn't such a key character in the film. In the sixth one, The Half-Blood Prince, it's a whole other story. I have no idea who whispered in Gambon's ear this time, but I want to find him and kiss him. Take these two scenes, for example, and compare them.
Harry Potter! Gather round. Quickly! Is he in this round? Harry! I protest! Harry, did you put your name in the cover of the fire?
No, sir.
You asked one of the older students to do it for you?
No, sir.
Absolutely sure.
Your arrival here tonight, and you have the right to know why. Once there was a young man who, like you, sat in this very hall. He's known all over the world by another name. Which is why, as I stand looking out upon you all tonight, I'm reminded of a sobering fact. Every day, every hour, this very minute is something to think about.
Do you mind if I take this? I do love knitting patterns.
Yes, of course, but you're not leaving, are you?
Oh, I think I know a lost cause when I see one. Regrettable. I would have considered it a great personal triumph had you consented to return to Hogwarts. Oh, well. You're like my friend Mr. Potter here. One of a kind. Well, bye-bye, Horace. Bye.
There is a difference of night and day. Well, in the 7th film, there was almost no Dumbledore, so I won't talk about it. In the 8th one, The Deathly Hallows Part 2, there was one very important scene with Dumbledore. I, of course, am talking about the scene after Voldemort tried to kill Harry in the Forbidden Forest, and Harry meets the ghost or the soul of Dumbledore. So, how Gambon did this scene? Well, he was perfect. 100% perfect. That was exactly how I imagined Dumbledore, and how I believe Rowling intended the character to be. Again, calm, smiley, a bit funny, loving, caring, anything we wanted.
I'll be going now, Harry.
Professor? Is this all real? Or is it just happening inside my head?
Of course it's happening inside your head, Harry. Why should that mean that it's not real?
So we had one actor that was perfect from the start. Then we got a second actor that was perfect in the start, horrible in the middle, and perfect in the end. I've never found an answer what the hell happened behind the scenes of those movies. I've never found an explanation to this. It can't be the director's orders, because although the 3rd film was indeed directed by one director, Alfonso Cuarón, other than the rest of the films, since the 5th one, the same director directed all of them, David Yates. So what made him wake up and tell Gambon to do Dumbledore differently? I honestly don't know. All I know that Dumbledore was one of my favorite characters in my favorite book series. And in some of the movies, and especially The Goblet of Fire, Gambon's performance was the biggest miss in cinema history. Now, I think that in the future we're going to see a TV series of Harry Potter. People are talking about it in years, and because of the success of Game of Thrones, and now we're going to have a TV series about Lord of the Rings, I think it is a matter of time. Anyway, what I hope is that this time, the director, the filmmakers, the producers, please listen to the crowd. Make Dumbledore great again, from the start to the end. Thank you very much for watching.